And let's bring in our global affairs editor, John Lyons now. He's in the studio with me. Hi, John. A momentous development after 15 months of war. Joe Biden describing this as one of the most difficult negotiations he's ever taken part in. Talk us through some of the detail of this agreement. It starts on Sunday. The phase one lasts for 6 weeks, and then where to from there?
That's right, Ruby. Of course, it's good news. It's good news that the hostages, the Israeli hostages, will go back to Israel. We understand as many as 30 or 35 of them tragically have died when they've been kept captive. It's good that they're able to be repatriated to Israel. It's good that the horrible bombing in Gaza is stopping. But really, if you step back from this, and this is the fourth Gaza war that I've been involved in covering, this is a Band-Aid. This is just a temporary pause in a decades-long cycle of violence. This doesn't address the heart of the issue. It keeps happening. It's tragic for both sides. It ignores the fundamental reality at the centre of all of this, that as the Palestinian population grows, they are living under, in West Bank, Israeli occupation, where they are inferior citizens to the Jewish settlers who live next door to them. I've done a Four Corners program a few years ago, Stone Cold Justice, showing that 12-year-old Palestinian children, and this will keep going on regardless of this ceasefire, they are taken from their beds at night and put on trial before Israeli soldiers. The Israeli army at gunpoint has the full power over the West Bank and over Palestinians, and Gaza is sealed off as an enclave. So it's a relief that it's over. It's a relief the hostages are going home. And if you look at, it's rare that as many children as have been killed in the last year or 15 months as Israel has killed children. The number of women and children killed, according to Reuters, it's about 1,500 a month on average. Children, women and older people have been killed by Israel. So I think what happens now when the war's over is serious questions too. We know the horror of October 7 by Hamas. In my view, that's a war crime. But in my view, I think that when the dust settles here, I think Israel will also be found to have committed war crimes. Haaretz newspaper has done a major investigation talking to former Israeli soldiers who've been in there, in Gaza recently. One of them tells Haaretz newspaper that there's a line of dead bodies along the Netzarim corridor. And the commander said, after shootings, bodies are not collected, attracting packs of dogs who come to eat them. In Gaza, people know that wherever you see these particular dogs, that's where you must not go. And Israeli soldiers have told Haaretz that anyone who crosses an imaginary line there will be shot, and every Palestinian casualty is counted as a terrorist, even if they're children. And so I think now, yes, it's good there's a temporary relief, but I think the world needs to ask the Palestinians, Hamas and Israel about what's happened over the last 15 months.
I think there is some sort of understandable trepidation about this ceasefire and whether it will hold. We have this phase one set to last for 6 weeks, and during that time, phase 2 and 3 will be negotiated. How much confidence can we have in that holding for at least that first 6-week period?
Look, I think both sides want it to hold for that short-term period, but in a way that says everything, doesn't it? That we're looking at a 6-week period of a respite. We need to look as well at the bigger conflict. And now you have a government in Israel that is implacably opposed to a two-state solution. So we have the Attorney General of Australia, Mark Dreyfus, has gone off to try to repair relations between the Australian government and the Israeli government, a government which absolutely opposes Australia's official policy of a two-state solution. The Americans want a Palestinian state, the Europeans do, the Australians do, and yet Benjamin Netanyahu and his government do not want that. And so, yes, it's a huge relief that the bombs will stop dropping, but the world is not seriously at this point addressing the heart of this problem. So it will happen again. and it will be worse each time. I've seen that. The ceasefire hopefully holds long enough to get humanitarian aid into Gaza, to get all of the hostages back to Israel, and to try to stabilise things shortly. But Gaza, essentially, according to the Slovenian ambassador to the UN, Gaza no longer exists. I mean, what happens there with the rebuilding of it? The Norwegian Refugee Council had a report recently saying humanity is being erased in Gaza. And so, as I say, now the serious, hard questions of both the Palestinians and Benjamin Netanyahu need to begin.
John Lyons, we will keep you here for further analysis through the morning, but thank you very much.
Thank you.